Hello again and welcome to another episode of Main Street Martin, and this time we have a postcard from Cumbria with our short break in the Lake District. Don't forget to check out all of the episodes on the channel, and if you enjoy them, please make sure you click on the like button, ring the notification bell to be informed of any future videos, and if you possibly can, please help the channel by subscribing. Now, we've stayed in lodges before in Norfolk and Somerset, but this time we're staying in this glamping cabin at the quiet site in Ullswater. This was a wedding anniversary gift from our son, and we didn't really know what to expect. But from the moment we arrived, we absolutely loved it. These cabins are specially made for this site by a company just down the road. The cabins sleep 2 adults and have everything you need. They're more spacious than you might think. They cover something like 15 square metres. At the entrance is a large covered wooden deck with picnic table or table and chairs. And then just inside the door is a small sofa, a table and chairs, and a simple kitchen, including plates, cups, cutlery, bowls, microwave, kettle, toaster, fridge and sink. Then on the opposite side is a sprung double bed with cotton sheets, duvet and pillows. And at the very back of the cabin is a toilet, wash basin, shower and towels. Plus, these are all carbon neutral. All heating and hot water comes from a remote ground source heat pump, solar panels and a biomass boiler. Now, if that's not enough space for you, there's plenty of choice here as well, with glamping burrows, gingerbread houses, glamping cabins, camping pods and a self-catering holiday cottage. Plus, the site offers traditional camping and touring, hard-standing pitches there with access to some of the best showers and facilities around. Now, we were only here for a couple of nights, so we set off to explore right away, taking the walk down the hill into Pooley Bridge. It's a particularly scenic route with views over Ullswater, the fields and of course plenty of sheep and cattle. Now, Pooley Bridge was an historic stone road bridge that crossed the River Emont in the village of Pooley Bridge near to the northern end of Ullswater. It connected two civil parishes, Barton and Pooley Bridge and Dacre, and it was Grade 2 listed in January 1991. The original bridge was erected in 1764 to replace an earlier bridge from the 16th century. However, this bridge was washed away on the 6th of December 2015 when Cumbria was hit by heavy flooding during Storm Desmond. After the storm waters eroded the riverbed around the base of the bridge supports, it collapsed. Now, this brand new stainless steel clear span road bridge was lifted into place in January 2020. By this time we'd worked up an appetite following our 4-hour drive and a couple of hours walking down to Pooley Bridge and exploring the shops and the countryside. So we ate at Granny Dobekin's, which is a lovely English tea room and tea garden in a spectacular setting overlooking the new Pooley Bridge. It offers breakfast, main meals and homemade cakes and scones, all served all day. And there's a selection of vegetarian, gluten-free and dairy-free options as part of the menu as well. And there are smaller portions for children and those with smaller appetites. When we went, it was full with walkers, cyclists and lots of dogs, and we'd certainly recommend it as the food was excellent and the views stunning, as we had a table outside overlooking the bridge and Ullswater itself. In fact, we returned the following morning for breakfast. Now we returned the next morning because we wanted to take the steamer across Ullswater to Howtown and Glenridding. Following a lovely breakfast at Granny Dobekin's, we walked across the bridge and waited for the first of our steamers to arrive. Now there are various timetables depending on what time of year you visit, and there are a number of different prices depending on where you want to go and so on. But we bought the Around the Lake ticket priced at £24.50, and that enabled us to go from Pooley Bridge to Howtown, then from Howtown to Glenridding, and finally from Glenridding back to Pooley Bridge, stopping to explore each place. Ullswater is the second largest and third deepest lake in England, and this is an award-winning, environmentally accredited attraction. The steamers have been operating cruises across Ullswater since 1859. Their original purpose was not only carrying passengers, but also Royal Mail, provisions, slate from nearby mines, and lead from the Greenside mine. During the Second World War, Ullswater steamers also ferried soldiers down to Glenridding for training at the Ullswater Hotel. And today, the Ullswater steamers operate one of the largest heritage boat fleets in the world. After exploring Howtown for a short time, we waited for the next steamer to take us to Glenridding. This is Glenridding, the small village at the foot of Ullswater, which is a popular starting point for walkers and climbers going up Helvellyn, England's third highest. You can hire rowing boats and bicycles in the summer from St Patrick's Boat Landing and get tuition or hire canoes from the sailing centre in the village. There are also a selection of shops, an information centre right next to the car park, which offers gifts, books, maps and lots of local knowledge. There are a couple of hotels, B&B and self-catering properties here as well, and many are family and dog friendly. And there's also a campsite, a bunkhouse and a youth hostel. Now, on the day that we were there, water levels in the lake were too low for the steamers to stop at Aeroforce. So once we'd returned to Pooley Bridge, we went there ourselves to see the fabulous waterfalls and Gowbarrow Park, both operated by the National Trust. Entrance is free here, but there is a parking charge if you visit by car. Aeroforce was the backdrop for William Wordsworth's poem Somnambulist, a Gothic tale of love and tragedy. And there are many different woodland trails to discover here, from quiet glades to the dramatic waterfalls, with Aerobeck thundering down a 65-foot drop past ferns and rocks. It's stunning. And if you walk to the summit of Gowbarrow, you'll be rewarded with panoramic views over Ullswater. There's also a tea room, and you may spot some rare red squirrels. One thing you will definitely see is plenty of Cumbrian sheep. For our final evening, we returned to the Quiet site and collected pizzas from the Quiet Bite and took them to the Quiet Bar. It's a welcoming historic place with a warm atmosphere and even warmer log fire. The original building was built in the early 16th century and it's attached to the reception area, which was the original farmhouse in the traditional Cumbrian long barn style. The barn was actually rebuilt in 1680 and then again in 1752. It was converted into a bar back in 1963 and little has been changed since. Now, after checking out on our final morning, we set off to visit England's largest lake, Windermere, and Kendal on our way home. We stopped first of all at Bowness-on-Windermere, which is a sprawling tourist town on the shore of the lake, about halfway along the 10.5 mile length of the lake between Waterhead at the north end and Lakeside at the south. It developed after the opening of the railway line from Oxenholme and Kendal to Windermere back in 1847. It's now the Lake District's most popular visitor destination and is busy for much of the year. People come to enjoy the lake for sailing and water sports amongst other things, or perhaps to relax and enjoy the atmosphere of the area and the town's picturesque setting. The Victorian influence can be seen everywhere as you look around. In the late 19th century, wealthy businessmen from Lancashire built large residences overlooking the lake, and many of those have now been converted to hotels. You may see the Langdale Chase Hotel, the Stores Hall Hotel and the Bellsfield Hotel. Finally, we stopped off in Kendal to visit the castle. The market town here is lined with grey limestone buildings and is known for its shopping, festivals and historic buildings, as well as the famous Kendal mint cake. There's no admission charge for Kendal Castle and it's well worth a visit. It was built in the late 12th century as the home of the Lancaster family, who were barons of Kendal. The best known family associated with the castle was the Parr family, including Queen Catherine Parr, the sixth wife of Henry VIII. Her family had lived at Kendal since her ancestor Sir William Parr married the heiress of Kendal, Elizabeth Ross, during the reign of Edward II. Now, by the time Catherine Parr was born, the family had long deserted the castle, which was already falling into disrepair. The Parr family had their properties, including Kendal Castle, confiscated by the Crown in 1566. As you look around, the two remaining significant ruins at Kendal Castle are parts of the walls of the old Manor Hall and the only surviving tower. You might like to know that poet John Keats visited the ruins on a walking tour of the lakes in the summer of 1818. He and his companion Charles Brown stayed the previous night at Endmore and then they walked on to Windermere. And that's it for now. We have many more trips planned, including the Cologne Christmas markets. And in the meantime, make sure you check out our previous videos from Warwick Castle to Walt Disney World, Salzburg to Salou, cruises, city breaks and theme park trips. And if you enjoy any of the videos, you can really help the channel by clicking on the like button, ringing the notification bell and subscribing. And I hope you can join me next time for another episode of Main Street Martin.
I'm gonna go write a million songs if that's the way to be. Out of the class to beat them all and go down in history. I'll be the one to reach the stars, but only if you're with me tonight. 'Cause that'll